Hi and Assalamualaikum. My name is Nabalkis Aini binti Abdullah Tahir and I am from Group 6. So today, I and my group members Ahmad Aizat Zahir, Nur Izzah Shazwani, Muhammad Fikri and Siti Najatul Haya will be presenting the topic about reliability and validity are two important aspects in test quality. Explain three differences between reliability and validity. Provide example for each explanation and discuss factors that influence content validity of a test. Okay, let's look at two pop quiz questions. First, you want to measure student intelligence. So you ask students to do as many push-ups as they can every day for a week. Number two, you want to measure students' perception of their teacher using a survey, but the teacher hands out the evaluations right after she scold or warning her class, which she doesn't normally do. Okay, based on to these two questions, you can figure out which of the following is reliable but not valid, and the other is valid but not reliable after I explain what is validity and reliability. Okay, for a better understanding, let's read this slide together. Schools interested in establishing a culture of data are advised to come up with a plan before going off to collect it. They need to first determine what their ultimate goal is and what achievement of that goal looks like. An understanding of definition of success allow the school to ask focused questions to help measure that success, which may be answered with the data. Okay, if you look at the first point, they said that if the school that establishing a culture of data, they must come up with a plan, and that plan they need to determine their ultimate goal and what achievement of that goal looks like. And if they can determine these two concepts, so they understand the definition of success that they want on that school. So if they understand the success that they want on the school, so they can focus to build up the question that can help to measure the success. And when creating the question to quantify a goal, they need two concepts. That two concept is universally agreed by researchers to be a PK importance. And that two concepts are validity and reliability. And this validity and reliability refer to quality and accuracy of data instruments. So this is the table of overview of three differences of between reliability and validity. So I will explain the first column about the definition or what does it tell you. What does reliability and validity tell you? And I will explain the differences between them. Okay, what is validity? The validity of an instrument is the idea that the instrument measures what it intends to measure. Validity pertains to the connection between the purpose of the test and which data the teacher chooses to quantify that purpose. Okay, for example, imagine a teacher who decides to measure the intelligence of a sample of students. Some measures like physical strength possess no natural connection to intelligence. Thus, the physical strength, like how many push-ups a student can do, would be an invalid test of intelligence. Okay, understand? Now let's look at reliability. Reliability, on the other hand, is not at all concerned with intent, instead asking whether the test used to collect data produces accurate results. In this context, accuracy is defined by consistency, whether the result could be replicated. The property of ignorance of intent allows an instrument to be simultaneously reliable and invalid. Returning to the example above, if we measure the number of push-ups the same student can do every day for a week. Okay, highlight here. The same student can do every day for a week. Reliability means consistency, right? Okay, this means the student do the exercise or the push-up consistently, which it should be noted is not long enough to significantly increase strength, and each person does approximately the same amount of push-ups on each day. The test is reliable. So yes, it's reliable. It do consistently and accurately. But clearly, the reliability of these results still does not render the number of push-ups per student a valid measure of intelligence. Understand? Still, this test is reliable but not valid to measure the intelligence of students. Because reliability does not concern the actual relevance of the data in answering a focus question, validity will generally take precedence over reliability. Moreover, school will often assess two levels of validity. The validity of test question itself in quantifying the larger, generally more abstract goal, and the validity of instrument chosen to be the test question. Okay, basically, a question may be reliable but not valid, and may be valid but not reliable. But if the question is valid, mostly it was reliable. Okay, let's see the diagram below as an example. Although reliability may not take center stage, but both properties are important when trying to achieve any goal with the help of data. In research, reliability and validity are often computed with statistical programs. So let's dive a little deeper about types of reliability and validity.
Hi, Assalamualaikum and Salam Sejahtera. My name is Siti Nazatul Hayah. I will continue the differences between reliability and validity. How is it assessed? Reliability can be estimated by comparing different versions of the same measurement. Validity is harder to assess, but it can be estimated by comparing the results to other relevant data or story. Methods of estimating reliability and validity are usually split up into different types. Types of reliability. Different types of reliability can be estimated through various statistical methods. Test, retest. The consistency of a measure across time. Do you get the same results when you repeat the measurement? A group of participants complete a questionnaire designed to measure personality traits. If they repeat the questionnaire days, weeks, or months apart and give the same answer, iterated. The consistency of a measure across rates of observed. Do you get the same result when different people conduct the same measurements? Based on assessment criteria checklist, 5 examiners submit substantially different results for the same student project. This indicates that the assessment checklist has low iterator reliability, for example, because the criteria are too subjective. Internal consistency. The consistency of the measurement itself. To get the same result from different parts of tests that are designed to measure the same thing. You design a questionnaire to measure self-esteem. If you randomly split the result into half, there should be a strong correlation between two sets of results. If the two results are very different, this indicates low internal consistency. Types of validity. The validity of a measurement can be estimated based on three main types of evidence. Each type can be evaluated through expert judgments or statistical methods. Construct the adherence of a measure to existing theory and knowledge of the concept being measured. A self-esteem questionnaire could be assessed by measuring other traits known or assumed to be related to the concept of self-esteem, such as social skills and optimism. Strong correlation between the score for self-esteem and associated trait will indicate high construct validity. Content: the extent to which the measurement covers all aspects of the concept being measured. A test that aims to measure a class of students' level of Spanish contains reading, writing, and speaking components, but no listening components. Experts agree that listening comprehension is an essential aspect of language ability, so the test lacks content validity for level of criteria. The extent to which the results of a measure correspond to other valid measures of the same concept. A survey is conducted to measure the political opinions of voters in a region. If the results accurately predict the later outcome of an election in the region, this indicates that the survey has high criterion validity.
Okay, Assalamualaikum. Hi, and a very good morning to fellow friend and doctor. Okay, my name is Nuriza Shazwani binti Zani. I will continue this presentation with the third point of the differences between reliability and validity. Okay, how do reliability and validity relate? Reliability. Reliable measurement is not always valid. The result might be reproducible, but they are not necessarily correct. Validity. A valid measurement is generally reliable. If a test produces accurate results, they should be reproducible. Okay, understanding reliability and validity. Reliability and validity are closely related, but they mean different things. A measurement can be reliable without being valid. However, if a measurement is valid, it is usually also reliable. Reliability refers to how consistently a method measures something. If the same result can be consistently achieved by using the same method, under the same circumstances, the measurement is considered reliable. Okay. We can see in situation 1 and situation 2. Situation 1. You measure the temperature of the liquid sample several times under identical conditions. The thermometer displays the same temperature every time, so the results are reliable. Situation 2. A doctor uses a symptom questionnaire to diagnose a patient with a long-term medical condition. Several different doctors use the same questionnaire with the same patient, but give different diagnoses. This indicates that the questionnaire has low reliability as the measure of the condition. About validity is referred to how accurately a method measures what it is intended to measure. If research has high validity, that means it produces results that correspond to real properties, characteristics, and variations in the physical or social world. High reliability is one indicator that a measurement is valid. If a method is not reliable, it probably isn't valid. Validity is harder to assess the reliability, but it is even more important to obtain useful results. The method you use to collect your data must be valid. The research must be measuring what it claims to measure. This ensures that your discussion of the data and the conclusion you draw are also valid. Okay. We can see in situation 1 and situation 2. Situation 1, if the thermometer shows different temperature each time, even though you have carefully controlled conditions to ensure the sample temperature stays the same, the thermometer is probably malfunctioning and therefore its measurements are not valid. Okay, in the situation 2, if a symptom questionnaire result in a reliable diagnosis when answered at the different time and with different doctor, this indicates that it has high validity as the measurement of the medical condition. Okay, however, reliability on its own is not enough to ensure validity. Even if a test is reliable, it may not accurately reflect the real situation. We can see in situation 1 and situation 2. Situation 1, the thermometer that you use to test the sample gives reliable result. However, the thermometer has not been calibrated properly, so the result is 2 degrees lower than the true volume. Therefore, the measurement is not valid. Okay, situation 2. A group of participants take a test designed to measure working memory. The results are reliable, but participants' score correlates strongly with their level of reading comprehension. This indicates that the method might have low validity. The test may be measuring participants' reading comprehension instead of their working memory. Okay, thank you. That's all. Thank you.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and very good morning to all my friends. So my name is Ahmad Aizat Zahir bin Zakaria. So today I and my friends will present to you factor fluent content validity of a test. Okay. So we go to the next slide. Okay. Okay. So here you can see we have a 6 factor influence validity of test. Okay, the first one is an appropriate level of difficulty of the test item. Secondly, test item and appropriate for the outcome being measured. Third is reading vocab and sentence structure which are too difficult. Fourth is ambiguity. Second, improper arrangement of item, and the last one is unclear direction. Okay, so what is unclear direction? If direction regarding how to respond to the item, whether it is possible to guess and how to record the answer are not clear to the people, then the validity will tend to reduce lah. So here we have a 3 step. So for the first one is ask someone else to read through your exam. It is often helpful to ask someone else to read your exam with the specific goal or identifying unclear or ambiguous question or instructions. Your tasks, if you have them, are ideal for this task because we are familiar with the course content and your student, but still have a fresh eye for your exam. If you don't have a task, you can ask the college and offer the reciprocate. Sorry, my English very bad. Okay, so next is check the level of specificity of the instruction. So sometimes students are unsure of how much required for them to demonstrate their knowledge. So here they might underestimate what constitute or sufficient answer. So it can help to explain about your expectation lah. So for the avoid problematic sentence construction and idioms. Particular sentence construction can be especially difficult to process, such as example include the double negative and long complex sentence in general. So it is best to avoid them lah. Also in the multiple choice question MCQ, use absolute such as never or always, okay, judiciously because this term can lead student astray. Okay, so how to give a clear direction? How to give a clear direction? First one is use precise language. Okay, use clear and precise language. Okay, the next is repeat your direction. Okay, repeat your direction. Okay, for the third is explain the purpose of the task. Okay, and then next, make sure your student understand. Okay, after you giving the instruction, okay, make your student understand. Okay, next is use an appropriate tone, and the last one, describe the specific. Okay, so you can read the explanation here. Okay, because I want to cut time to give my friend to present. Okay, so the next is an appropriate level of difficulty of the item test. So when the test item have an appropriate level, it will affect the validity of the tool. For example, in criterion reference test, failure to match the difficult specified by the learning outcome will lower the validity. Okay, item analysis difficulty of and the item is understood as the proportion of the person who answered a test item correctly. Proportion, the lower the difficulty lah. What this mean is not has to do with inverse relationship. The greater the difficulty of an item, the lower index would 90/60. To calculate the difficulty of item, the number of person who answer is correctly is divided by the total number of person who answer it. Okay, so usually this proportion is indicated by the letter B, which indicates the difficulty of item Kruger and Algaina 1986. It calculate by the following formula. So here we have a formula. You can see the formula. Okay, so the next is according to the Exoba manual, the median difficulty level of the examination should range between 0.5 and 0.6. The value of P being distributed in the following manner: easy item 5%, item of medium low difficulty 20%, item of medium difficulty 50%, medium hard item 20%, and the last one, difficult item, is 5%. Okay, so characteristic of a good test based on Zulaikha 2008, okay, on her book Manual Test Analysis. To get know about the characteristic of test item, we should do an analysis on their quantitative and qualitative aspect. Okay, quantitative and qualitative aspect. Qualitative analysis is used to know whether item will function properly or not to test student, while quantitative analysis is used to know the item test after given to the student. Okay, in quantitative analysis we have certain formula to measure the statistical quality of multiple choice question, short answer, and essay item. Yet in qualitative analysis, there are several characteristics that have to be fulfilled in order to be said as a functional item. Based on Zulaikha 2008, multiple choice question item are good if they fulfill the characteristic as follow. Okay, so we have 5 characteristic. So there should be one correct answer each question. Secondly is one of future at the time should be test. Third is each option should be grammatically correct when placed in stem. The fourth is the item it should be efficient using word, phrase, and sentence. Then the last one is the optional answer should be chronological state. So for the last one, factor is the test item and appropriate for the outcome being measured. So many times, what happen is that we try to measure certain complex type of achievement, understanding, thinking, skill, and others with the test form are inappropriate only for measure factual knowledge. This affect the result and lead to distortion of validity. Attempt to measure understanding, thinking, skill, or other complex type of achievement with the test from that appropriate only for measure factual knowledge will invalidate the result. So that's all for me. Thank you.
Assalamualaikum and good morning to Dr. Lim and all my friends. My name is Muhammad Fikri bin Abdul Rahim, number metric 146724. Today, I will continue the presentation about the factor influence contest validity of a test. A point I choose is reading, vocabulary and sentence structure which are too difficult. The complicated vocabulary and sentence structure mean for the pupil taking the test may fail in measuring the aspect of pupil performance, thus lowering the validity. Take for example, long instruction and difficult vocabulary in the exam question will cause the student to misunderstand the question. Maybe the student take a long time to understand the question and don't much time to answering the another question. If the student not understand the question, so how the student want to answer it? The student not understand the question because it have difficult vocabulary and sentence structure can make lowering of validity. Another factor of influence contest validity of a test is ambiguity. Ambiguity in statement in the test item lead to misinterpretation, differing interpretation and confusion. Sometimes it may confuse the better student more than the poorer ones, resulting in the discrimination of item in a negative direction. As a sequence, the validity of the test is lowered. Take for example, students have blur to answering in higher order thinking question. This is because the question wants students not only to remember the knowledge and skill that have learned, but also to make sense of and be able to use it. The student cannot answering the hard question because the ambiguity the question instruction. As a sequence, the validity of the test is lower. Lastly, the factor of influence content validity of a test is improper arrangement of item. Items in the test are generally arranged in order of difficulty with the easier item first. If the difficult items are placed early in the test, it may make the students spend too much of their time on them and fail to reach other items which they could answer easily. For example, the arrangement of items not following the table specification, it is mean easy question to hard question. In table specification, the question being built must have a different level of difficulty. Also, such as improper arrangement may influence the validity by having a negative effect on pupil motivation. That's all for me and my group for this presentation. Thank you for participation. Assalamualaikum and selamat sejahtera.